Hi, I'm making a bunch of tutorials about digital hardware design, and I decided to start with Boolean algebra because Boolean algebra is the theory behind digital hardware design. Here I will use notations that are most common in engineering, not in math, because the whole purpose of this tutorial is to get started with the digital hardware design. So Boolean algebra is the algebra that is restricted to values 1 and 0 instead of from minus infinity to plus infinity in algebra of real values. So let's start with multiplication. So 0 multiplied by 0 will equal 0. 0 multiplied by 1 will equal 0. 1 multiplied by 0 will equal 0. And 1 multiplied by 1 will equal 1. Yeah, pretty much the same as in algebra of real values. Then let's do addition. Uh, 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 0 equals 1. And 1 plus 1 equals 1. And if you had never been exposed to Boolean algebra, then the last one should be pretty surprising for you. Yes. The problem, some people might have problems with understanding the whole concept behind Boolean algebra, because usually when we see numbers, we relate to real objects like apples and coins, and when we think of this, we think like 0 apples plus 0 apples equals 0 apples. That makes sense. 0 apples plus 1 apple is 1 apple. That also makes sense. But 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 1 apple. Nah, that just doesn't make sense. Yes, it doesn't, because it's a whole different domain. And here you should think about ones as 0 not as an object, but as a different concept, as a truth for 1 and false for 0. And I would suppose you can relate it in a way, in this way. Imagine that ones are something, just something, and 0 is nothing. And that will help you to relate to these to Boolean algebra values. For example, does it make sense to you? Nothing plus nothing is nothing. I think that should make sense. Then nothing plus something is something. Yeah, that also makes sense. And even this one, something plus something is something. Yes, and that's the way you can make sense out of Boolean algebra on this level before you are exposed to digital hardware. Yeah, then let's play with variables. Let's say variables in Boolean algebra are the same variables as in normal algebra. They are represented with letters, and here they could be either 0 or 1. So let's have a variable a. What we can do with that? We can multiply it by 0, and it will equal 0. And how do I know that? It's very easy. In algebra, instead of variable, we can put all the values from the Boolean domain. For example, to check this, we can say if a equals 1, then 1 multiplied by 0 will equal 0. Yeah, as here. If a equals 0, then 0 multiplied by 0 will equal 0. And that's how you know that a by 0 is 0. Then let's take next one. A multiplied by 1 equals, hey, yeah, that might be obvious, but let's do it as well. If a equals 1, then the whole thing will be 1 multiplied by 1, that is 1. If a equals 0, then it will be 0. Yes, it will be 0 multiplied by 1 equals 0. So you see, whatever value we put into a, the result will be the same as the a. So let's do the same with addition. It might look a bit tricky there. So a plus 0 equals a. Yeah, you can check that. And then a plus 1, and here is a little surprise, it will equal 1. And let's check that. If a equals 1, then 1 plus 1 will equal 1 because of this guy. Yes, and if a equals 0, then 0 plus 1 equals 1. Yeah, so that's how we know that a plus 1 equals 1. And that's more or less because of the fact that 1 plus 1 equals 1. So let's go further. Oh, I forgot to introduce you to negation. Yeah, let's do that now. There is, except for multiplication and addition, there is another thing called negation. Yes, and negation, for negation we write a bar above a value. For example, 1 negated will look like this. Yes, and 1 negated equals 0. That's basically an inverted value. And 0 negated will equal 1. That's how negation works. And they're pretty simple, right? Let's play with negated variables. Let's say a multiplied by a negated. What could that be? Let's see, if a equals 1, yeah, then a negated will equal 0. 1 multiplied by 0 equals, we can check that, 0. Then if a equals 0, then a negated equals 1, then it's again equals 0. So we can say that a multiplied by a negated will always equal 0. That's the idea. Let's do that also with addition. Let's say a plus a negated. Let's do that. If a equals 1, then a negated will equal 0, then the result will be 1. Then if a equals 0, then a negated will be 1, then it still be 1. Yeah, that's how we can say that a plus a negated will always equal 1. Let's do another one. What's about a multiplied by a? What could that be? Let's see, if a equals if a equals 1, then the whole thing will be 1 by 1, which is 1. If a equals 0, then the whole thing will be 0 by 0, that is 0. So we can see that the resultant value will be the same as a, as the initial value. And we can do the same thing with plus. A plus a will equal, okay, it will be either 1 plus 1, which is 1 as we remember here, or it could be 0 plus 0, which is 0. Yeah, so it's the same. The resulting value will be the same as the initial value. Yeah, and these are the basic rules of Boolean algebra. I would rather say that the blue rules here, I would call them informal definition of Boolean algebra, and we will stick to that. And next video I will show you some more rules, and we'll play a bit with some equations. Yeah, so see you again soon.